Curse you, Ajit Pai, you bastard, and the FCC. Anyway,
Language, dude.
What? That wasn't a bad one. I could think of worse names to call that.
That wasn't the challenge.
We need a bleep button. We seriously need a bleep button. Anyway,
don't do delay.
we'll try this again. Thank you.
We're not on a delay, Jason.
Let me just point out to you right now, Jason, I would not be able to keep up with you.
Ooh, because I will be just off the chain if I knew.
Just bleep him when he talks.
That's mean.
Just hold down the button.
That's mean. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us for another hour of Nerdetry news. And tonight, a few of our favorite things on SCNS Live, the Super Cool Nerd Show. I am Jason the X. This lady over here, and like I said before, I need me a Dallas Fuel shirt. It's Kat.
If you're still with us, thank you.
Yeah, that was
some technical issues getting up to 9. You could get a Dallas Fuel shirt. You just have to pay for one.
I got other things to buy.
I got this from the watch party. It wasn't from the interviews.
And the lady over there, who's not wearing a Dallas Fuel shirt, that's Cass.
It's blue. It's close enough.
But
and
you
it's
are
video
wearing,
games.
I like that you're wearing something directly related to what you're talking about tonight. That's cool.
Yeah.
So,
obviously.
Well, I mean, you always wear it.
This
is more coincidence than
always
anything.
What I talk about.
Overwatch is always related.
Can't really argue. Anyway, and the lady behind the board making everything look good, make it sound pretty, and cursing the internet gods, it's Cora.
Hi.
That's creepy.
Oh, can't.
That was, like, seriously, like, put you in, like, a blue dress and some pigtails and just...
I've done that before, actually.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And actually, they didn't have pigtails. They had their hair down and just had a ribbon in their hair. I used to do that.
Anyway, we are down some of our people. Bryce, unfortunately, he's away in a far away land that you...
That's all we're going to say about
that. It's very mysterious, and we hope that he comes back to us at some point. Anyway, and Ricardo's working, but y'all didn't care about that, did you? Did you care?
Well, he has to have a real job in addition to the internship.
So, anyway, it's going to be a great night because we're talking about the favorite things, the things that we love personally as the cast. And we want to hear from some of y'all in the chat. What do y'all like? And I really want to talk about that Dark Phoenix trailer. I'm sorry.
Me too.
Okay,
but
then.
I feel like it's probably for a different reason.
Yeah, it probably is. But anyway, you know how we start the show off. Let's kick it off with some super cool nerd news. Well, I like that song. Sorry. Anyway, so to all you Fortnite players out there, you were probably upset just a little bit at Sony. Just a little bit when you tried to use your account on other platforms because, well, you know, everybody's playing Fortnite these days. You will be happy to know that your complaints and some of the mean tweets that I've read, I swear, like a week ago, reading mean tweets to Sony from Fortnite players was my crack. Like, I started reading, like, oh, I need some popcorn for this. I literally went and got popcorn just to read it.
But you'll be happy. Bill Hader gift.
Oh, like, that was me. Because the Fortnite players were not having it. Anyway, so the big news was cross-platform playing. Xbox, Switch, PC, PS4. PlayStation and Sony did not want to play nice. They just refused. You couldn't use the account that you created on other platforms. Well, now they have buckled. Guys, your voices were heard. You will now be able to cross-platform play Fortnite on the PS4. Which, honestly, that's pretty groundbreaking that we're able to cross-platform play a game.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to play nice with each other. No, we want you to buy the game on our platform. But with millions and millions of Fortnite players, this is a different... Sorry, they look shockingly over there.
No, hi Hopkins.
Hi Hopkins. Continue.
Hi Hopkins. But with so many millions of players playing Fortnite, it was only a matter of time because, honestly, those players were like, well, I guess I'm about to go get a Switch so that I can play. Or an Xbox. There were a lot of people willing to leave the Sony platform. They were like, hey, wait, we like money. Let's go ahead and do that. So congratulations to all the Fortnite players out there who hilariously made all these posts on Twitter. Y'all got your way, and it's a true story. The squeaky wheel got the oil. Now go play some Fortnite, but not now. Catch us in a bit. So
They haven't had a good week though. Xbox One went down the minute I think season 6 dropped.
Oh, yeah.
It went down for a while.
They were not prepared.
The quote-unquote embarrassing breast physics, like, of season 6, they have not had a good week.
They really haven't.
Let's talk about those breasts.
I couldn't even... I absolutely was not offended. It's just the funniest thing I've seen in a while. That's not how they work, people.
There are too many really obvious jokes about whether they
Like,
have any
what was this?
experience.
Was
they
this
have
really
ever
necessary?
It was
The-
so funny.
I mean, look, I'm not. I don't want to say
Stop motion.
Yeah.
the wrong thing,
That
but
was so funny.
them not how boobs work. Okay, who seriously knows what we're talking about? Because are you fanning yourself?
No, I was mimicking how boobs work in anime too. There's legitimately an anime.
Look-
Hold on. Let me
Oh
go
God,
to it.
what are we gonna?
They, instead of moving like boobs work, which is basically like boom, 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 'cause depending, they literally went like
More like, what was that
this.
noise?
Yeah.
You know
That's the
how
anime sound
it
effect for
feels
boobs.
like
I thought it was a new melee attack
sack of
myself.
sand. Can it be both?
Can it be?
Hey, it should be an advantage. If you pick a female character, that is your advantage.
A top-heavy female character.
Oh.
You can get them up. It's like going low and going high on
yeah.
playing football. Boom, boom, up, and they're done. They're done.
Halo, if that's a Honest Trailers reference, I love you forever.
It probably is. She's awesome.
Oh, Halo. Oh. That's our special lady that does our
interviews.
Artist Alley interviews.
Yeah.
Halo's awesome. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, no,
So-
they didn't have a good week. It was so funny.
I kind of wish at this point I had gotten a video just of that because
Yeah.
if you see the tears in my eyes when
Yeah.
I first saw them, oh God, I almost fell over in my chair. Just like,
That's unfortunate.
I can't go back and look at it now. We're doing a show.
I heard something, and I don't know if it's true, but somebody was telling me about Sony's cross-platform stuff, that basically they'd had a whole deal with Microsoft back in the day, and they got burned on it really bad. Like, they'd built some servers, and they'd invested a lot of money, and then they got burned. And I don't know if that's true, but if it is, it kind of like sheds some light on maybe why they're pretty anti-cross-platform.
Well, the one thing I do want to, they attributed a lot of this to, well, we were having problems getting it done. I'm not buying it, but Sony Interactive President John Kadira did say in a statement, "We recognize that PS4 players have been eagerly awaiting an update, and we appreciate the community's continued patience as we have navigated through this issue to find a solution." No, you bent to players. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but it sounded a bit petty. Just saying.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter now because Fortnite players won, and Sony likes money. So there we go. Cass, what have you got for us this week?
All right, so in TV news, we are getting a new Veronica Mars season.
What?
If you missed the show when it went off air in like 1998, no, in I think it was mid 2000s. If you enjoyed the movie, apparently it will not be like the movie. It will take a much darker tone, which is interesting, but very, very Cali Noir, which is how the original series was, but the movie was a lot lighter. We have definitely Kristen Bell back. We have Jason Dohring, Percy Dax III, Francis Capra. All have signed on as returning their characters. We don't have any word on Enrico Colantoni, who played Keith, Veronica's father. We don't have any word if he's coming back. Which you can't really have Veronica Mars without her dad. Like, he's a big part of he's kind of a package
So
deal.
I'm a little shocked to hear that. But
And that's, I mean, it got announced like 3 days ago.
maybe the contract's
so,
not
yeah,
ink's not on paper
It
yet.
could be that it's not finalized.
Okay,
I don't
no.
think wasn't he doing England or something?
He was doing something, he was a bad guy on something recently, but I don't think he's doing anything currently that's long term. We have been told that the books will be canon. Obviously, the movie's going to be canon, but it's going to be a darker, bigger world. The reason I wanted to talk about this is that it's coming next year. On the writing staff will be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Weird.
the
Huh?
basketball player. He's writing for the Veronica Mars. He's never written for television. He's never, but he has written some books.
As I go to IMDb.
Yeah, he's written some books about Sherlock Holmes, which I just looked up because I didn't know that he had ever written anything in his life. But yeah, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, ladies and gentlemen, our new television writer, obviously.
It does make me feel better that he has some writing experience.
He does, and he's written, obviously he wrote an autobiography, he's written a lot of nonfiction, but he's also written fiction, always with other writers, which I imagine this will also be with other writers, but yeah, I'm kind of interested to see.
He's a best-selling author, apparently.
Yeah.
Dang, really?
Well, his autobiography, was best-selling.
Still.
I don't know about anything else. But yeah, like, I'm really interested to see what he does with it.
Yeah.
All right. Nice to see him expand. I mean, the guy's 71 years old. It's nice to see he's still got a rabbit in the hat, you know?
Yeah.
So, what platform is Veronica Mars going to be on, by the way?
I think it's being produced by Hulu.
Okay, good. I wanted on something streaming.
It's being produced by Hulu, which means that they can do some more adult things that they couldn't do because it originally aired on UPN.
Yeah.
I think. WPN.
No, it was UPN.
UPN. So, yeah, with the Hulu platform, they can kind of tell a more adult story that they couldn't at first. Although the original series is decently dark, like, starts out with her best friend getting murdered.
It's one of those shows where it's like, is anybody watching? Can we get away with this?
Yeah.
But they can also,
it was
like,
UPN.
turn quicker. That's what streaming platforms do, is, there's not so many, like, I guess, like, technical steps and hoops they have to go through. It seems like they're able to adjust quicker. So
yeah.
Considering it's Hulu, we'll probably get like episodes every week. Not like Netflix releases everything at the same time, but like with like The Handmaid's Tale, those come out every week. So I'm okay with that.
And I think we'll probably also get a shorter season, which I haven't looked. I don't know if they've released the number of episodes, but I'm thinking probably 10, 13, something like that.
Is it too far for this series? Has it been too long?
No.
You don't think so?
No, it's kind of a universal story, I think. Just a girl,
Oh, don't get me wrong, I love Kristen Bell.
I love her. I don't know.
She's gotta be busy.
She is, yeah, and that's why I'm thinking that it will be a shorter season as well, because she's got The Good Place.
Oh yeah.
She's also in, which is an amazing show, by the way.
I love
The
Good
Place. It's awesome.
Tied Cass's arms and feet and made her watch.
Because I didn't want to watch it. I thought it was stupid. And then she was like, no, you need to watch this.
Did you see the end of the first season? She's like, I don't know. And I was like, you would know.
You would know.
You must watch this.
Apparently the chat is all about UPN. They had SmackDown, so,
Oh, yeah.
WWE.
They did.
Yeah. So anyway, Cora, go ahead. Hit us. What have you got?
Oh, okay. Y'all keep surprising me.
I love when she's like looking away. That's when I do it.
Rude.
That is mean.
They can't see it on camera,
Also
though.
not on camera. Haha!
She's pointing at him, and we know pointing is rude.
She's letting me know I'm number one.
Speaking of pointing, everyone get your pointer fingers ready because Ace Attorney is going to be coming to the Switch. The original trilogy is coming back to the Switch, or is coming back to us in the form of the Switch. I am so excited because I love this series a lot. It's really fun. If y'all haven't given it a chance, it is a visual novel style story where you find clues, you solve cases with a cast that is absolutely insane. Like, this is the tamest picture from the entire series.
That's a perfect one.
Yeah. I believe this is, I think, after the end of the first game. You have this beautiful screenshot. It's just great. And I'm really excited that Capcom has announced that it will be coming to the Switch. I will definitely be rebuying the entire original trilogy so that I can play it on my Switch, mostly because I'm excited about playing it on a screen that's bigger, so I can actually point and click on the because you can search the areas for the clues, but it's really hard to like sit there with a DS and be like, I want that one, when the image is like that big. Now that it's gonna be bigger, I can more accurately click on like the trunk of the car or specifically this thing in the car. It'll be interesting. And please, everyone buy it. So
I think it's a perfect game to come to that platform, honestly. I mean, it's been primarily a portable game anyway. I totally forgot about that until you mentioned it, like with the pointer with the little stylus.
Yeah, and it did come to the Wii U. At one point, they did bring the original trilogy and some of the other games to the Wii U. The only thing that I'm going to be interested to see how they do is it's always been a split screen game because the DS had that split screen. So you had the top screen as what the characters were saying and what the environment looked like, and then you had the bottom screen that you could use for your start menu and for, you know, the searching of clues. So it'll be interesting how they kind of work with that. Because in court cases, having that split screen was really important because the person that's being questioned would say something and you would want to keep that sentence up so you could find the piece of evidence that contradicts the exact date they said or the time they said or what they said, period.
I fully expect them to make use of the gyro controls on the Switch.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, what if they do that for searching? Oh, God.
Yes,
God.
That is what I'm seeing. Like, I want to see that integration with that game. So, okay, that's using that technology.
Done. Just take my money.
I've been playing the crap out of the online stuff right now. I've almost completed Super Mario Bros. 3. So
I hate you a little.
it's the best Mario.
Years and he turns into a statue.
I don't know.
I love Super Mario 3.
Sorry.
See, Super Mario World was always my favorite.
I love Super Mario. I loved all 3 and Super Mario World. 1, 2, and 3. And I know there was a lot of hate for 2.
No, 2 was great.
It.
Yeah.
2 was fun.
It was
well,
fun.
That's you.
It's great. And it had the eagle though.
Where you pull plants out of the ground to hit people.
Oh, I love to.
Instead of being able to step on them and stomp them to death.
Well, technically that was based off of a different Mario game, but it was licensed over here as Mario 2.
Whatever, you had to find a plant or like pick an enemy up.
And
Again,
you had a bonus game. It introduced America to like jackpot games. Slots.
Isn't there an old TV show called Ace Attorney?
No.
No.
What was the TV show? The super old TV show? It was like black and white.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's a bald guy.
Kojak?
He's supposed to be this amazing lawyer. It's
Andy
like
Griffith.
old drama.
Oh
like
no,
old, like,
it's not
melodrama.
Kojak. It's not
It's not
Ironside.
Matlock. It's the other one.
Dick Van Dyke?
No, it's not Ironside.
know.
I can't think of it. I know which one you're talking about. Guys in the chat, help me out. I'm old, but that's why my memory's going. Anyway,
While there is not a show, just a real quick thing, there is a live-action movie that Japan did for Ace Attorney, and to this day, I will continue to sing its praises as the only video game movie adaptation that actually was good.
Silent Hill.
And, well, Silent Hill was also on that list, but it's also the one that was the closest to the source material that they based it
Silent
on.
Hill was
Silent
not
Hill was
that.
not.
Exactly, but it was
But it
still
was good.
Silent Hill was a good movie, but not fixed in the
Yeah.
thing. But Ace Attorney only had one thing that was wrong.
What was
Perry
it?
Mason. Sorry.
Oh, Perry Mason. That's right. I forgot about him.
he wasn't
Perry
bald.
Mason. Was he not?
Perry Mason was not bald.
Somebody was bald. Somebody was old. Yeah, Carl. Yes. Perry Mason.
He was.
Came out of nowhere.
I'm sorry.
Silent Hill forever. Anyway, let's get on with the news.
Cat.
I do fully expect some integration, and I want to see that. So
Oh, absolutely.
Perry
This
Mason.
show never was on the rails, so
It's just-
it can't actually be.
freaking Perry Mason references here. Cat, save us, bring us back. What you got?
Nothing that will do that. So, what do you guys know about Beautygate 2018?
Wait, what?
The new iPhone XS and
Oh, yeah.
XS
Oh,
Max has an 8-megapixel selfie camera. Megapixels don't matter. Don't let anyone tell you they do. Anyway, and users are saying that their selfies are looking overly smooth and like they've been touched up and they're
Oh boy.
complaining.
Oh, goodness.
I have to defend this as a photographer. What is happening is most likely 2 things. I know it takes automatic HDR photos, which is it takes several photos to get the lightest and darkest part of the picture and merges them. Alright, so photos with HDR look smoother. And also it has automated noise reduction. Noise reduction is the exact filter that you use in Photoshop to smooth someone's skin out. So, in defense of Apple, I don't think they're intentionally smoothing out skin. I think that lower light photos, which is how way too many people take selfies, look a little bit smoother because of that noise reduction. So don't stress, Apple didn't think you were ugly. And if you want you to look more like you in a selfie, then get more light. That's it. PSA.
That's a creepy picture. I'm sorry. When compared with the other one. Like, when I saw you put that in the chat, because we don't ever tell what our stories are, we just provide pictures, and I was like, what the uncanny valley is starting to happen here. But I get it. I
I'll
get
let
it.
her know you said that. It's my cousin.
That's your cousin in that picture? No, it's not.
You got me for a second. I was like, who is that?
Cousin who?
It's
Cousin who?
Castle, like, which cousin is that? Hannah, I'm gonna need you to ban Xander Price in the chat. Just go ahead and do that.
I can't ban from the Facebook chat, but why?
Because he's saying my Dinobot's ugly, and he's clearly wrong. Go ahead and ban him.
He's not.
Permaban, please.
Your Dinobot is sick.
Well,
It's not shaped like a raptor at all. But that's exactly how the animation model looks, so I really can't say anything.
just so you know, apparently our dad is watching.
Yeah.
Our dad is watching.
Right, Bryce is
Oh, hi.
in the chat. In the
Your
YouTube chat.
dad is
What?
watching.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in the YouTube chat.
Our dad is watching.
Hey, dude. You
It's
should
a
be
new
here.
show tagline.
As
Your
he
dad
is
is
away in a
watching.
faraway magical land. Give me
Hope
some
you're
poutine.
having fun. Provide us details.
Anyway,
Yeah, we told you to do
Not
that.
too many details. Some details.
well, that has been the news. Thank you, guys. So let's move on because this morning we got a new trailer
Yes, we did.
for I guess, the last X-Men movie that Fox is going to handle. Fox's X-Men Dark Phoenix. This movie has been kicked back a couple of days, couple of weeks, months. Also been had some reshoots done. And then we got the trailer.
We talked about that.
I know we talked about that, and honestly, I'm just gonna flat out say it. I love the X-Men. I do not care about this movie. This is it. This is the last thing that Fox is gonna do with Marvel properties, and it's for the best. Okay, please continue Deadpool. Kill this universe. I looked at this trailer, and all I saw was The Last Stand all over again. Oh, Jean Grey goes crazy. How about we do an actual Phoenix storyline with, I don't know, the Shi'ar, the Starjammers, make it an actual cosmic-based threat. It's just Jean going crazy again.
Let's see the love story between her and Cyclops.
Go-
That always made sense.
she goes to Magneto, and Magneto, oh, you're right, and you should absolutely do this thing. It's just a rehash, and I honestly, these are in the past. There's
You don't
nothing else going to
care.
happen with
Why
these.
are you so mad?
Why? Yeah.
I'm mad because it looks like a rehash of The Last Stand,
Oh.
which is the weakest X-Men movie there is. Which is the weakest X-Men movie besides X-Men movie,
Okay.
not singular
okay.
X-Men.
Okay.
Okay,
Because
So-
you know what I was about to say.
we're gonna say
Apocalypse is the weakest.
Oh.
no. I was gonna say Wolverine Origins.
Oh,
No, I know.
God,
But
no.
I said X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah,
X-Men,
so
yeah.
this is the weakest one.
Apocalypse.
It's still-
overlap. Yeah. No, Apocalypse is the worst. Is the weakest.
No,
Yeah.
no. Okay,
Apocalypse was bad.
first off, they had already set them up to have new uniforms at the end of that movie, and what do we see? They're all back in training outfits again.
I could not care less about what outfits
So-
they're in. The
No,
movie
this
was
is
bad.
this is how
Okay.
you determine the strength of a movie. Apparently,
I have-
Do they have the
It's
I
same
have-
their
outfits?
outfits.
No, and it's not even that. It's just that this is it. There's nothing else going to be done with this universe. Kevin Feige is working to fix the problems that Fox has created and bring the X-Men proper into the Marvel universe. So why should I care about this movie?
I don't. I'm just gonna go watch it.
I mean, I'll probably watch it at some point.
I don't know. I'm gonna go watch
but
it.
it looks like a rehash of The Last Stand. Come on, man.
If you made a rehash of The Last Stand and made a good movie, then I will like it. The Last Stand isn't. It's not. If you take her storyline, I was about to be like, okay, but there's the Magneto bridge thing, and that was bad. But her story isn't awful. She in The Last Stand, she's it was just told badly. So if you have her struggling with her power and her struggling to understand her power and all that, that could be an interesting story. It's just that it wasn't told.
It could be.
I like that.
A lot of things could happen. I'm just saying traditional.
No, please continue.
Abilities have not played out.
Please
the way
continue.
That one
Go ahead.
Yeah, they haven't had a good X-Men movie in a minute.
Logan?
X-Men.
X-Men.
And you did it again.
Just hit the hypocrite sign right there.
If we're going to be litigious about it. Aw, there's a
There's a puppy in the studio.
Hi, buddy. Aw,
He
he's
can't
a
come
good boy.
She's
a good boy.
my dog came in the room. Okay, hey, go to bed.
Oh, she can't come see me because she'll knock the cameras over.
Go to
I'm
bed.
sad
Aw.
now.
I looked up just in time to see my own reaction, like on camera. Maybe like
It was a.
"Aw."
She's a very good girl. I actually got her a gift today. You ever seen those big mitts that like get their fur off?
Yeah.
I bought 2 of those. So I can just
Oh, she's gonna love that.
yeah, she loves contact. So, and this gets rid of the hair on her at the same time. So anyway,
We all love contact, Jason.
dogs, it's actually good for them to be petted.
It's good
It
for
helps blood circulation.
people to be touched as well.
Anyway.
Not bad.
Captain America. Where is
I didn't
he?
say a word. Anyway, continuing on with X-Men
got
Dark
weird.
Phoenix. I'm sorry a dog came in the room, everybody. Anyway, that one. Go ahead. Why are you excited for Dark Phoenix?
I'm not.
Excited is a strong word.
Oh, really?
I'm going to watch Dark Phoenix mostly for the performances. Writing has never been their strong suit, but rude. But X-Men, when it is good, it lives in its performances. And pretty much all of they're good actors. Like
It's a struggling
James
half-life.
McAvoy,
but
Michael
it does
Fassbender,
live.
Sophie Turner, they're all good actors. And so I'm willing to watch it just for the performances. As long as it isn't truly terrible storytelling, then who knows? It might be a good movie.
Some of their biggest mistakes have been makeup mistakes, covering the ability
Of
of
Oscar
the artist
Isaac
to perform.
to move his face. It's
Well, he
almost
dead
like
now,
you need
so-
that in acting. That was the worst part of that movie. Him and not saying his name.
You're not saying his name.
No. In
Apocalypse.
Oh, you don't want to
He
say.
You-
said, I
Apocalypse.
demand your worship. I demand that you drop everything. I am your new god.
What's your name? No idea.
What's his name, son?
That's like the #1 thing with gods, is that you worship them by their name.
Cora, you got an opinion on Dark Phoenix? I know Ricardo was really hyped for this.
I didn't see the trailer, so.
I didn't
Could
either.
not care less.
I haven't cared about an X-Men movie since X-Men 2. Legitimately.
Logan's really good.
I enjoy
good. Deadpool's good.
or I'm sorry. I was excited for X-Men 3 because I enjoyed X-Men 2 when it came out. And then I didn't get to watch X-Men 3. I got spoiled that a bunch of my favorite characters just didn't show up, like Nightcrawler, because he didn't sign the contract for it.
Well, didn't we go
And-
see the second one, Days of Future Past? Didn't we go see that?
Yeah, I wasn't excited about that.
Okay.
I hate that name.
I went to see it
That's a stupid
because
movie.
I like
Go
Hugh
Back to
Jackman.
the Future.
That is legitimately the reason I enjoyed the movies, because I like Hugh Jackman.
I like that we got a proper Bishop in that movie.
There was that too.
Bishop's one of my favorite characters.
There was that too.
What?
The
I don't care about X-Men.
Bishop,
comics,
the
so-
large black man with the dreadlocks that
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah.
redirecting energy.
Yeah.
I just
he
recently,
was-
I just
he
recently
was
got a good
awesome.
figure of him too, and I like Bishop.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, there were parts of that movie that were good.
I like Warpath. I like seeing my X-Men on camera. Like, if we're gonna get into the nitty gritty of it, the X-Men are my favorite property. I've just hated they've been
Really?
mishandled for many years.
Interesting.
I've always been an X-Men fan. When Jim Lee, when they split the teams into the gold and blue teams back in the 90s, those are some of my favorite. I literally beat a guy up because he ripped up an X-Men comic of mine.
To be fair, he was being a douche.
That's true.
So,
I love the X-Men, and I just hate that they have not been properly handled. I do like X-Men, X2. I enjoy Days of Future Past. Logan is probably the masterpiece of the X-Men series. So
Definitely.
with this, but with them being in the split universe, it was hard to equally care because they just seem to not get the better movies.
Yeah.
And when Marvel started making Avengers and Captain America, I want my X people to get this treatment.
Yeah.
Oh,
I really like First Class as well. I don't see who said that. First Class, I really, really, really enjoy First Class. Despite, who was it?
that was Keshin in the chat. Hi, Keshin.
Oh, hi.
From the
Hi,
chat,
Cassie.
a lot of people were disappointed with Apocalypse. And a lot of people want this to redeem Apocalypse. And a lot of people think it's going to take a lot to forget about Apocalypse.
I did like First Class. Except for, what is his name? Kevin something? Kevin, he's in everything. He was in First Class. He's the bad guy in First
Kevin.
Class. Kevin
Bacon, Costner.
Bacon.
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Oh,
Besides his slightly wandery characterization, I thought it was a good movie. So, like, they can make good movies.
They haven't
They just didn't
in a while.
in Apocalypse.
Cat, thoughts on the trailer?
I didn't see it.
Oh. Just
I
not chomping at the bit to
forgot.
see this one, huh?
That's the thing, is like, I'm actually apathetic about it.
Yeah.
I tried to like Apocalypse. I really hate overly produced things. It's like they got so excited about using effects and experience there that they didn't care if it was the right way to go about the story.
I cannot believe you just threw that shade.
Not at you.
I know.
But whatever.
It's an amateur storyteller / movie
It
maker decision is to care about how the story looks ahead of the content of the story, and as a result they lost both.
Yeah.
And admittedly, with last week's news of Kevin Feige has been working on integrating the X-Men into this Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's like, I don't care about anything else that is in the way of that.
It's not in the way.
Yeah, it is.
It's a last hurrah. Like, why not go
They
see...
could blow up the universe.
Why not go see if Sophie Turner learned how to do an American accent?
That is a nice way to say cash grab.
Yeah.
Trista, love the 90s cartoon. Absolutely. Which actually they're making 90s X-Men right now in Toy Biz, and I love it. They're making 90s X-Men.
Yay.
That's great.
I do want to see Sophie Turner and see if she can pull it together. I felt like she was a little bit like wooden from trying too hard to do her accent.
Yeah.
But when she wasn't talking, when she was doing
So
the burst
good.
out of into the Dark Phoenix, towards the end of Apocalypse,
Yeah.
when she got all her crazy, powerful realizations, her face was on point. So.
She was, and I mean, we've seen her for years. She's a good actress. It just...
I've already said my piece. I'm not going to say it again.
Yeah.
Well, then stop making faces at ours.
I'm waiting for Wolverine and Captain America to have a World War II movie.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
Moving on.
So, we are talking about also tonight some of our favorite things. So we're going to end on a good note, a happy note. Because Cora suggested this because it's something's going on this week. I don't know. Cora, can you elaborate what's this made up holiday or whatever?
Tell us about things.
So, this week is Suikoden Day. I know that it's day and week. I'm gonna kill you. So, Suikoden Day is a week-long celebration of the Suikoden franchise. It used to be just one day, and now it's extended to an entire week, so next year they are going to officially rename it. But because of that, and because Suikoden is something that I care a lot about, figured we would talk about some of our favorite things that we genuinely care about, things that make us who we are. And of course, with all nerd people of our type, we have many things like that, but this week we all picked one thing that is super important to us. We're going to kind of talk about it.
Talk about yours.
Okay. So, unsurprisingly, mine is going to be Suikoden because of what's going on.
Friggin' shocker.
Yeah, I know. Suikoden is a video game franchise. The main story is told over 5 games, each with a connected, it's an entirely connected universe, and you follow kind of the history of the world, and they reference other games and they reference other histories in that, which is something that doesn't happen a lot with JRPGs, especially ones that go so long. They even have some offshoot games that kind of fill in the gaps between games, which we didn't get over here, and I'm still slightly salty about that one.
Just a little.
But as you can see, like, these are your heroes throughout the games. You have the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth heroes. I'm sad that this didn't include in the third, because in the third one you can choose your hero, and one of them is a female knight, and she's amazing, and she's my favorite. But I wanted everybody, and I couldn't find one that didn't have, or that had the prince too. But this game has meant a lot. This series has meant a lot to me. My brother-in-law showed them to me. It was a way that we bonded and how I got to know him a little better. So these games have kind of found their way in my heart and in my soul, and I've wanted other people to enjoy them because the story is, at least for the first game, it's fairly simple, but the moments you have with the characters are just emotional, because you actually see these characters as fleshed out creations instead of just, well, here's a character. You're supposed to care about them because they have dialogue. Even the characters that you only meet for maybe 5 minutes have a lasting impression. There's a character named Maximilian in the first game, and he shows up again in the second game. You just run into him. You have a chance encounter with running into him, essentially, is how it feels. And he's an old man, but he is wanting to have one final grandiose fight. He used to be a knight, and he wants to fight for honor again. So he joins your army. That's it. That's the extent of his character. He is one of the best characters in that game because his dialogue is so great. And they paid that much attention to detail to everybody. It's wonderful. I'm actually going to be making a video for the channel going more in depth with Suikoden 1 and 2 and then into the others, but those are the contained ones for now.
Hearing her passion over it, you kind of understand why she's so crazy about it, right?
You said your brother-in-law, right? Got you into it initially?
Yes.
What was it about it that drew you? The story?
Kind of. It's actually kind of funny. I didn't want to play it at first. The American box art for the first game was absolutely atrocious. I want you guys to imagine the artwork on the old D&D, like A2 D&D adventure guides, but in a romance novel style. Oh. That's what the cover was, because I remember...
Ooh, that mental picture.
That's rough.
I'll show you guys the cover after.
No, thank you. Go on.
I remember actually seeing that in a GameStop when they used to sell PlayStation 1 games, and I turned my nose up at it because I'm like, what is that? It looks stupid. And of course they didn't have the discs inside, because when you open the disc has the original box art on it. So it has the style of the actual game on it. But he pulled that disc out with that box art. I'm like, I'm not playing that. And he showed me the book inside and showed me the artwork. He's like, give it 10 minutes. If you don't like it after 10 minutes, you don't have to play it. 2 hours later...
He's like trying to take it back. You're like, no!
No, he was actually really excited that I wanted to keep playing. And the only reason I stopped was because I had to get up early in the morning for work.
That's never stopped me.
Nope.
But it's not a good thing.
I had to do inventory, so I had to be able to count.
He's like, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Exactly. But it was really fun. He started telling me just like little tiny things. Like it took a lot for him to not backseat game because he was so excited and he wanted me to experience everything. But he would sit there and be like, so let me tell you just like random stuff about the history of the world that you won't get in these games. Because they were in games that they didn't bring over here. So he told me just like little tiny things about the magic system called runes. There are special things called true runes that only certain people can wield. And the main character in the first one gets one of the most powerful ones.
Is it when you're pure of heart?
No.
Oh.
They can be passed on to others. The person that's passing it on has to be willing. And some of them are actually seen as a curse. Because, like, the rune in the first game, it's called the Soul Eater rune. And it's called that for a reason. And it
doesn't sound great.
It doesn't. And it's, like, it's always funny to me because they're like, don't use it. It's bad. It's cursed. And I'm like, but if I use it, this enemy dies. So I'm just going to use it now. But in that same vein, they kind of balanced it so that you can't just like overuse it, and there's no potion that gives you that power back. You have to sleep it over. And so they kind of work it out that way. And in the first game, I abused the crap out of that in the first game. Just like, oh, well, I'll just go back and sleep and come back and do that back and forth. In the second game, there are certain characters you can't recruit after a certain number of days. And if you want to get the good ending, you have to recruit all 107 other characters.
How's it working out for you?
It's actually not that hard. There's quite a few of them that are plot important, but there are certain characters that aren't. And in 2, it's a lot easier to miss certain characters. I missed 1. So I got the bad ending, and I'm still mad because it was a character that I couldn't find because I was looking for her too early. So when I went back, back to look for her later, and she was gone. And I realized I couldn't get the character that I was looking for because I didn't talk to her. It's one character, you talk to her, and then it spawns another character later to show up that's looking for her. And it starts a whole side quest that I've never finished because you have to finish it in gameplay under 30 hours. By the way, getting to that point, that's at the end of the game, and that's at least 40 hours away. So you have to, like, cheat. The cheats are fun, though.
So this is why this week, it's just
an entire celebration of people that
Are you going to do artwork?
I am trying to do artwork. I was doing some
I knew it!
Didn't get finished. There's actually, for people that don't write or draw or cosplay, they do have some other raffles going on, where certain ones are like certain pictures. Another one is what they've called Suikoden Feels, and it's, tell us why Suikoden is important to you. And that's it. Just, why is this important to you? There's one couple, they met each other by chance on a forum for a convention in their area, and found out, like, she saw it first, he had an icon for one of the characters. And they started talking 7 years later, and 2 years of marriage. Suikoden is what brought them together, and it's still there, very prominent in their lives. And so that, like, for example, people have been submitting things like that, and they've got prizes that have, like, rare merchandise that you can't find anymore, or you can only get in Japan, because America's level of merchandise is, like, none. You can find the games, and good luck, that's it. In Japan, they still actually celebrate this game a lot. There's still, like, they just had a symphonic concert for the Suikoden games recently, which, if you have not listened to the music, go listen to that. That actually alone would probably entice you enough to listen to the music, or to go play the games.
And if you want us to go to Japan, go to our Patreon. Anyway.
Yes.
Japan is amazing. Everyone should visit at least once.
On a final note, the music in the game is absolutely phenomenal. I highly recommend going listening to the soundtracks. They have the regular soundtracks. They actually came out with a Celtic version of the soundtracks, which is amazing. There's piano versions, there's guitar versions. There's a million different versions of them, and they're all fantastic. And if y'all don't take this away from me, I'm going to keep talking.
Did anyone feel like this is why she picked the topic for this week's show? So she could talk about Suikoden.
She was fairly
absolutely-
No, it was
Yeah.
actually great.
I was pretty clear
She
about
was
that.
like, I want to talk about Thing. Let's all
And this
talk
is
about
my
Thing.
excuse to talk about it.
Yeah,
No,
Yep.
absolutely.
seriously. And from the chat, everyone loves why you like Suikoden so much.
Thank you. Now go play it, please. It's on the PlayStation Network for $4.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah, PlayStation.
Oh,
Yeah, for the
really?
Yeah, the first game is on the
Sweet.
PlayStation Network for about $4 or $5, somewhere around there. Last time I checked. You can also get the second and third games. The final thing I'm going to say is your save data from the first game transfers to the second game.
Oh.
So if there are certain characters that will reappear in the second game, which
Oh.
they're all my favorites, so that made me happy. But if you level them up as high as you can, give them the best armor and the best weapons, they will have them in the next game. Which I didn't realize when I
Nice.
did my first playthrough. And then I
Nice.
found that out, and I'm like, yes. So if you get these two characters that show up at the beginning, and they'll only usually be like level 5, if you get them to like level 30, they're level 30 when they join your party.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna just raffle stomp everything
So,
now.
Wait, you can buy this game
Yes.
for the PlayStation.
I'm legit interested for $4.
Yep.
You never told us that.
I thought I did.
Every
Nope.
time you've talked about Suikoden,
Nope.
I've been like, oh, that game sounds super cool. Guess I'll enjoy never being able to play it. 'cause
You
it's
have
on
never
PlayStation,
told
like,
us this about
1.
it.
Oh, well, that's my bad. I'm
So
sorry.
anyway,
Yeah, it's on the PlayStation Network, and if you ever want to borrow them, because they don't have 4 or 5 on the PlayStation Network for some reason, I have those. But that's
so moving on to the next person
Cass
here.
is very angry
Because
at me
stop,
right now.
stop.
I need to go last because I'm going to swerve.
Okay then, Cass, favorite thing.
When
Okay.
people don't tell you stuff.
When people don't tell you that you can play this video game they've been talking about for the entire time that you've known them. Okay. So, if you've noticed for the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, I wear this almost every show. It's an Ankh necklace.
Since your birthday.
Since my birthday. Yeah. So 3 months. I've worn it, I think, every show. It is a reference to Death, the character Death, from Sandman. It's a 1990s comic book series, written by Neil Gaiman, that I just did that tick thing. I hear it now. Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah, that's never going away. So I guess I'll start with why I got into it. I got into this because it was written by Neil Gaiman, who I had kind of just discovered. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago. And it turned out that he had written a comic book series. And I really had never read comic books, mostly because of my one giant issue. Most comic books, especially characters I would be interested in, have been around for like 50 years. And you can't just pick up Batman and be like, I'm going to start Batman from the beginning without spending probably, like, definitely hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars if you were trying to get everything Batman has ever done.
The major storylines, yeah.
Yeah. I can't do that. I'm poor. And so I always wanted to start a comic book from the beginning and read it to the end. The whole story. That's how I like to read stories. And so it always bothered me that I could never do that. In this case, it ran for, I think, 8 years. And so the whole thing, you can buy the whole thing. You can buy it. You can buy the thing, and you can enjoy the thing because it's available. And so I, you know, it was kind of interesting. And then I looked at it, and it's about basically the incarnation of the idea of dreaming. And his name is Morpheus, or Dream.
Or the Sandman.
Or the Sandman. He is actually loosely based on a character that was already in the, I think, DC universes, produced by Vertigo. That had, it was like this thing.
Gas mask.
Had like this gas mask and
Different Sandman.
it had nothing to do, but it's based off that. Part of him is based off that. It was this garbage. It had a thing. It had no character whatsoever, and it didn't involve dreaming, which is stupid. And Neil Gaiman was like, all right, I'm going to take like 3 things from that. And he created this entire universe of, in the DC universe, but also the dream worlds, which Morpheus controls, except at the beginning of the Sandman, he has been captured and basically forced to live in this tiny thing for like 50 years.
How does he feel about it?
And he is sad about that. He's kind of a bummer a lot of the time. He's a very solemn character, and I absolutely adore him for that. I don't
He
even
has
know.
the weight of the world on his shoulders.
He does.
Give him a break. Sometimes he just wants to feed his birds.
It's like he's a tragic character, but he's all powerful as well.
And
It's a weird dynamic to me.
He is
That's
But
one of the
he's
things I
also-
liked about
It's
it.
an
But he's also
interesting
very,
dynamic,
he's
too.
very kind, which was my number one favorite thing about the Sandman is there's not a punch thrown. It doesn't happen. This is about something that it's entirely outside of like violence. It's entirely outside of, well, a lot of things about comic books is that you have these amazing characters that get reduced down to punch and throw and punch and
to
throw.
the current storyline and course
Yeah.
of events.
And he doesn't throw punches. A lot of his problems
pulls them.
arise.
But you still get an idea of how powerful he is as a character.
It controls the entire dream world.
Exactly.
And he is not all-knowing, but he has this outside of humanity perspective on how he sees the world. And this kind of bigger than life, bigger than everything, but he still cares about things that are very small. He cares about individual people, and he cares about his siblings. And birds. He cares about birds. He wants to feed the birds. He cares about his siblings. My favorite of whom is Death. She is, if the Grim Reaper was kind.
You're not ugly.
And not ugly. She's very pretty. They appear as young people. He appears at about like a 20-year-old most of the time.
Like Trent Reznor at the height of his popularity.
Pretty much.
He legitimately just looks like they put Neil Gaiman as a comic book character.
He does.
It's great.
With like a harder chin and eyes that I cannot figure out how to make glow.
Yeah,
in
his
cosplay
eyes.
form.
His eyes are basically black, and then just there's a sparkle of glow in them. And he's I don't know. He's kind and he's very calm, and he tries his best. He just tries his best to help people, and it doesn't always go his way, and then he gets very sad about it, and I think that's adorable. But the stories are very, very strange. If you want to get into this, know that the first set, basically the first year, is one storyline, and it's just him trying to find a bunch of stuff and defeat this one, and, just like a normal story. And then Neil Gaiman started doing whatever he wanted. And it's like him in the desert with a cat, and there's just a bunch of cats, and there's a version of him, and Matthew, and just hanging out, and the guy, his head's a pumpkin, and all these different things, but it's beautiful, and it's interesting, and all of these things start to kind of connect. And this giant universe, and you feel how big the universe is to him, and how big everything is to him. And yet, he cares about things that are really small. He cares about doing the right thing, and I love that.
One of the things that drew me into Sandman, the first few runs of it, was the art of Sam Keith, which I followed Sam Keith's art when he went and started doing the Max as well for Image. So, and it's typically an art style I don't like for my stories. Like Mark Teixeira kind of has a similar art style.
Yeah.
But when I saw Sam Keith's, I was kind of like, okay, I kind of want to read this story, and it fit for that particular character.
It's breathtaking. Some of the art is breathtaking. The comic covers of the individual ones
Ooh, I love
are
those.
vastly different usually from the inside contents, but they are also beautiful.
A lot of them are like mixed media.
It made you want to know more. Like, what is this book about?
And a couple of them are absolutely terrifying. Because remember, this is a dream
Yeah.
world. People have nightmares. This is where those nightmares take place. There's one character in particular that I don't look at the pages too long because his name's the Corinthian, and he's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
It makes me want to go on.
Real
I'm glad I have a
quick,
computer.
Who got you into it? Sandman.
Oh, my friend. I really
We
don't
talked
remember.
about her and who got her into it.
Yeah.
I like the people in the chat are like, hey, we need to go check this out. Anyway.
Yeah, my friend Dallas got me into it. He's amazing. He's one of my best friends.
Amazing.
He's one of my best friends in the world, and I love him very much. But I wanted to read it, but I was like, I don't have the money. And he bought the entire collection and let me borrow it so I could read it.
And me.
And
He bought it for her, but I read it.
And he is the reason that I love it so much, and he is the reason that I actually read comic books now. I read a decent amount of comic books, and he's why. He provided
Moment to ruin her.
So out of clips that I'm going to have for like a blooper show, that's going in there.
I hope y'all enjoyed that. Chris, I'm sorry. I know you listen on headphones. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, quick shout out. Dallas is amazing, and he's a great nerd, and his enthusiasm is contagious.
Thanks for joining us, Dallas.
Thank you.
That sounds like a shout out to a city. Dallas, we're happy to have all of you watching us.
Dallas.
We're kind of there. Anyway.
Anyways.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
Read it if you haven't.
So, my passion, of course, is toy collecting.
Really?
No, I know.
I mean, this image does not mean anything.
That is literally a drop in the
We
bucket.
should have like panned before it
All the way
started.
around.
I'm gonna post it on Instagram.
I can find a picture. Anyway, I don't know, a 360-degree shot of the room or something. And of course, one of my favorite properties is Transformers, and there's a reason for that. Okay, I didn't have a lot of stuff growing up. Unfortunately, I grew up poor, very, very poor. I actually was raised by several people. One of the people that raised me was my godmother. Her name was Mama Mabel. I didn't have, at one point, any toys. But if y'all remember a couple things about Dallas, downtown Dallas used to be like a hub for shopping.
This is the city now.
Yeah, downtown Dallas. Used to be a hub for shopping. There was a place called E.L. Green's back in the day. And Mama Mabel took me down there, and I was always used to looking at toys and not being able to buy them and not being able to get them. As a kid, I would actually cut toys out, the pictures out of the toy catalogs, and I would have them, and they would be my toys because I couldn't afford.
Like a dream board.
Yeah, I cut them out as close as I could, so I'd have all my little Transformers. And I was looking at back in the day, Soundwave from the Transformers.
Yeah.
Because he was a boombox. And Mom was like, do you want that? I immediately put it down because I was like, I can't, we don't get toys. And she was like, no, pick it back up. And she was like, do you want that? I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't get toys. And it was just such a weird feeling at that point for somebody to actually take it. And she was like, pick another one because she looked at the price. It was affordable. So she said, pick another one. So I picked Bumblebee, the original Bumblebee. And she bought both of them for me. For a kid that literally had nothing to his name, that meant a lot.
Yeah.
I still have those two Transformers to this day. They have gone everywhere with me. Though I've had plenty of toys that have gone in and out. I bought thousands of dollars worth of toys. I still have original Soundwave and original Bumblebee. He came with Laserbeak. It was the only cassette. And it wasn't the one I wanted. I wanted Optimus Prime, but they didn't have him at the time. So Mom Mabel took the time to buy this toy for me. And honestly, it meant a lot to, I think I was 5 at the time. Because I had friends, I'll go and play with their toys or whatever. But I had none of my own. In fact, somebody found out about my little paper toys and laughed at me, and I punched him in the face. But he didn't have Soundwave, which was cool because he wanted the cassette player Transformer. And I was like, oh, really? This one that I have? Look, click, and sound, and Laserbeak. I got Laserbeak. You don't have this one. So it was like the one thing I had over his head. Because he was kind of, well, I'm going to admit, he was a spoiled rotten brat. He got everything. But Soundwave eluded him. I had him. And that was all thanks to Mom Mabel. And I did say at the time, I told her, I was like, I don't get attached to toys because as much as a 5-year-old could say it, I guess, it's just something that's not important right now. And she was like, no, you should always have toys. You should always play. So whenever you come to see me, I'll buy you a new Transformer. And she would always buy me a new Transformer. Especially if I came there with a straight A report card, I could get 2.
Aww. So
it was always a special moment for us. So I was always happy when I got a lot of my Transformers through her. And her words, honestly, they stick with me because you should always play. You should always be a kid. You should always have fun with life. And to this day, and I stopped for a while after like high school. I was like, I collected up through high school. I would come into my classroom, boom, there's a Beast Wars Transformer on my desk. If anybody has a problem with it, I'll put 5 knuckles upside your head. And I stopped for a while, and when I got into the Navy, like literally our first leave visit, we went out around the town and we visited a Toys R Us. And I was like, you know what, I ain't bought a toy in a while. Time to start up again. So her words have always rung true to me about being a kid. Having a love for something, no matter how silly it is, or somebody thinks it is, do it because that's what makes you happy. So thank you, Mom Mabel. I miss you. And I still have that Soundwave and Bumblebee to this day. That's why I still collect. And I'm probably never going to stop.
I don't see you stopping. I feel almost bad for constantly making fun of you for your number of Transformers.
Almost feel bad.
Almost.
Not
But
quite.
it's who I am, and I love doing it.
I have a storytelling voice, apparently.
You do.
Thank you, Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay, so enough on me, because I am getting a little misty-eyed thinking about my godmother. She's a very special lady. So
To be fair, all of us are too. Like, that was very sweet.
Not me.
anyway,
Thank you,
Can't
Jason, for
stop,
being
won't
vulnerable in this
stop
moment.
from the chat.
Kat, favorite stuff. Please, go ahead.
So I was going to talk about cosplay because I do love cosplay and making things, but I was listening to her talk about Suikoden and I decided to talk about Overwatch. And
I'm going to hit you later.
For liking something.
Oh, wait, no. I guess this still kind of works. Never mind.
Yeah, 'cause it's still Overwatch.
No, it's still the same. I was going to tell
Yeah,
you.
okay,
Your photo
okay.
still very much works.
Excellent.
Also have a new definition for nerds. Nerds are adults who are still passionate about playing.
Yes.
In some way, shape, or form. Anyway. So, Overwatch. A couple years ago, I went to Korea to stay with my younger brother, Cameron, who was in the Navy and stationed over there, and had a really good time. He would not shut up about this one game, and he wouldn't stop playing it. And incidentally, we had a fight about that. I was mad. I was visiting, and he would get home from work and play it every night for hours and hours and hours. And he would get me into the memes and stuff, and eventually, like, I would just be like, I can't talk about or see any more Overwatch. Let's go to the beach, or go to do touristy stuff, or go to
It is Korea, so
burgers and pasta, one of the favorite restaurants. Anyway, so when Korea's obviously on quite a different time of day, when I got back, like, we were trying to keep in touch, but it was really quite difficult because of, actually not because of the time difference, because I've always been a night owl, I guess, but because how were we going to talk? And he actually bought me a PlayStation.
Wow.
So that we could play games and talk. And
get out.
Yeah, it was and is incredibly meaningful to me. He might have been a little sauced one night and he put money in my bank account to buy a PlayStation. And when I got back from Korea, I decided to... we'd been playing Rocket League. I decided to buy Overwatch with money I had left over from the trip. And for the next close to a year, I didn't do anything else. Nothing else. I just played Overwatch. Overwatch is a kind of a MOBA style game with a fluid character system where you're in teams of 6. You pick characters and you go fight each other over an objective or the payload. Yeah, I'm surprised you know what one is. Aren't you a McCree main? And you throw a lot of shade just for funsies. What time is it?
It's actually about 9:11.
High noon.
Oh,
It's high noon.
And what I love about Overwatch is the team-based and the fluid character system, but mostly I just like fighting. I like that strategy actually is more important than your aim, although your mechanics are good too. But in between the PlayStation I have now and like a PlayStation 2, I didn't play games for a solid like...
That's a big gap.
10 years or something. I had Halo 2. We used to play swords on midship with like 25 people and just like go stab each other a lot. But I didn't play games for about like 10 years, so my mechanics are still kind of subpar in a lot of ways. And I like the fact that there are things that can trump how good your aim is. Also, I practice my aim a lot still. I am a diva main. I love playing diva. I'm good at diva.
You cannot roll your eyes at anyone's main.
I can roll my eyes at somebody that can just launch a mech and blow everything up.
Maybe if
That
you-
AoE is too much.
Your cooldown management sucks. Like, you should have your role. You should be able to get out of the way. Anyway. I am a diva main. My brother says to this day I am the best Lucio he's ever seen. I have made a phenomenal video highlighting my Lucio prowess of me just booping things off of ledges to classical music.
Best healer ever.
Huh?
Who was in the picture?
Oh, the picture that
I'll bring it back up.
yeah, that picture is the voice of the actual Lucio. He is a cinnamon roll of a human being,
He's
and I love him.
precious.
I'm sorry, what is he?
He's a cinnamon roll of a human.
It's a thing.
That's a special damn friggin' designation right there. I love cinnamon rolls, actually. It's my favorite pastry.
It's an internet thing. Like,
I have never heard that.
Okay.
I have said that
It's on-
so many times
it's
on
on
this
the
show.
internet.
It's on the internet.
I will give you a breakdown of it later.
It's a person who's too pure, too precious for this world. No, he's magical, very positive,
wonderful.
amazing. We should post my video because
Yeah.
not enough people saw me booping
It's
things
so
off to
funny.
class. It's only like a minute long, and I love
Put it on
it.
the SNS live show.
Anyway, Overwatch lore is fantastic. It has a rich storyline, and it just has really bright, kind of cartoony characters. So
But
it's
yet
not heavy.
They all still kind of have a tragic background. Like, a lot of them are maimed in some way. Which, as, that's one of the things that kind of draws me to it, because soldiers, things happen. Maims
Aw,
happen.
And you find out, like,
Like,
they have a
like,
comic book series.
Yeah, like
why
McCree.
he's so
Like, McCree is
salty.
missing arm. He used to be a left-handed gunslinger, but he's now right-handed. But everybody has some sort of prosthetic or scar. And some of them define their characters, or like even Tracer, who's constantly in a loop of, she can't maintain a physical form. They all have some sort of tragedy or injury from being a soldier, or
They all have a
or a hero.
motivation, too, for why they're in this, based a lot on their past and their scars and whatever. There's a phenomenal series of cinematics about different characters and what happened to them. The Reinhardt one makes me cry. Tracer's is pretty tragic,
The
too.
other thing I was going to bring up, a lot of
Live
them
with
have,
honor.
a lot of them clearly have PTSD, including Bastion.
The robot.
yeah.
The robot
PTSD.
has PTSD,
They are tragic, but real, relatable characters.
and then
Once you get past how pretty
then
it
there's
is,
Moira.
and it's just PvP. Well, she's anyway.
She is a ginger Irish scientist villain.
And there's
I
the
was
problem
so
right there.
I love
pumped.
her.
Same.
There's,
I'm
yeah.
a Moira. You may have guessed at some point. Kat and I live together. No.
Shocker.
We're sisters, too.
We are also sisters. Yes, that is correct. Anyways,
Not in like literally.
Like, yo, my sister.
sisters. No,
Oh, don't get me started.
she eventually got me into Overwatch.
It took so
because,
long.
yeah, well, also I didn't have anything I could play it on.
It took so long.
But yeah, now I play it. I'm a Moira main.
It only took a year and a half of not talking about anything else ever.
I don't mean to roll my eyes at different people's mains. Just sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
get
Well,
DPS, like I
Just to
not
point
worried
out,
about
Jason,
you.
the camera's not on you, so you just outed yourself.
Yeah, this is my passion.
Yeah.
Also, as of like this year, I'm super into Overwatch League, which is a competitive like franchise.
Well, we got a home team, so you know.
We got a home team. My favorite like competitive Overwatch team became the Dallas Fuel. So my favorite players, my single favorite
Speaking
player,
of cinnamon rolls,
Mickey, joined the Dallas Fuel, and now they're an esports league. And I got to meet some of them, and it was amazing. Interviewed them for SCNS. Anyway, yes, tragic backstories. They have hope. It kind of launches you into the universe from the moment you start the game, with Winston talking about who Overwatch was, what they did,
Yeah.
what happened, and where we are now. And it has the call to action
what we
that all
could
good
be.
stories have.
yeah.
Somebody's got to do something. We've got to do something. And it's amazing.
Are you with me?
I often joke that it is the only video game.
Ah.
Anyway, that's my
Which
passion.
of course is not true. There's also God of War. That's it. And Suikoden.
And Suikoden.
Oh yeah, now
That's
I cosplay Junkrat, and I talked her into, and now she enjoys cosplaying Roadhog.
who, if you don't know, is like 7'3" and over 300
pounds or something. Like he's
like definitely over like 300 pounds, giant. And then my little.
I'm glad we picked a night to talk about our favorite things when it was only a 4-person panel. So
it was a good get to know us.
we wanted to share this with you
do it,
guys.
sing
So
it, do
thank
it,
you,
do it.
Getting
guys
to
in the chat.
know
Y'all have been
you.
awesome.
Getting
Um,
to know all about
Y'all have been great.
God,
I did want to take a moment to talk. We interviewed these guys at QuakeCon, but the Crazy Pro Gear bags. They recently launched their Kickstarter, and they have already reached goal.
All right.
Congratulations, guys, for reaching goal. Glad to see,
Awesome.
and have gone over, but there's still time to get in on them. They actually sent me a message because I've been like, oh, good luck on the Kickstarter. They have made it. They have 8 of their $99 the GTR 1 bags, which will pretty much fit a tower, a monitor, and all your peripherals. If you travel with your gear to do LAN parties and stuff like that, these are great bags to have. Like, you know, we're not paid to do this to give word about anybody. We actually got to know them. We looked at their gear. It's good stuff. I don't know why our thing just got interrupted, but anyway, it's good bags. Apparently so, because they just made it onto they just made the Kickstarter. So if you got some money to spend and you need to store your bags, I recommend the Crazy Pro Gear bags. They're really good, and they give it. I endorse them because it's a good product. Yeah. So congratulations, guys. Glad you made your Kickstarter. There's still time to get some of those like $100 bags, and if you want them, go get them. So anyway, that's it for us tonight. Yeah, there was like a hiccup. Sorry, guys, there was a hiccup on the internet.
I'm not
There
sure why.
was.
I didn't.
Who was the gear bags? What was
It's Crazy Pro Gear. Like I said, they just made their Kickstarter.
We stopped streaming on Facebook. Apparently, it kicked us off.
Yeah, that's why I wanted him to re-say it, because I think it came back up.
Hold on.
then
I'm bringing it
it
back
didn't.
up now, guys. Hold on.
It looks like we're still going.
No, on me. For me, it wasn't. It may
No, that's
be
a
delayed.
loop.
Yeah.
Oh, it
okay.
is. Huh.
I'm streaming again on Facebook. I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't see that happen.
Crazy
I'm
Pro Gear bags,
Crazy Pro.
right? Crazy Pro
Crazy.
Gear.
Crazy Pro Gear. I'm gonna actually put a link to their Kickstarter in the description below, because Crazy. Yeah, it's like CRAZZIE. They're good bags. Like seriously, if you
Crazy Pro Gear.
look, there is no way I would trust my tower in a damn bag.
I didn't realize you were talking about a computer at first. I thought
Yeah.
you were being hyperbolic.
No, it's you can actually fit your tower, monitor,
One of the dark towers.
all of your peripherals and everything in this bag and sling it, and
Yes.
they're actually really well
They're really
balanced.
comfy.
So, like we were at QuakeCon, everybody brings their towers and stuff into there because they're doing LAN parties basically.
And they're a pain to transport.
And I'm sorry, my tower is expensive. It takes a lot for me to put it in something and sling it to my back. I'm putting it on a cart to bring it in somewhere. With these, actually, I tried out one like with a tower inside.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it was really good. So if you need a bag for something like that, definitely recommend Crazy Pro Gear. Crazy Pro Gear. They still have
What is it?
Crazy Pro Gear. They have 8 of the $100 bags left because they were doing a special with the Kickstarter and everything. And you can always buy a bag from their site too. So like I said, congratulations, guys. Glad you made your Kickstarter. They could still use more. I'm honestly thinking about buying one just in case because, like I said, they're good construction. They're military grade construction as well. So yeah, congratulations, guys. Glad you made your Kickstarter, and many years of continued success. Anyway, that has been our show for the evening. Thank you guys for joining us on kind of what got to be a kind of personal show.
It did. It went a little long, but
And-
it takes a long time to get to know us, and we're worth it.
And because I promised to do this, da 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 da. The X-Men theme song. The
Sure.
X-Men. Yeah, whatever.
That's why we're staring at you.
I know. Somebody from the chat wanted me to do it. So I did it. Anyway, of course, you can always like this video and subscribe. Follow us on youtube.com/SCNSlive, on facebook.com/SCNSlive, twitch.tv/SCNSlive, and of course, Twitter @SCNSlive, and Instagram @SCNSlive. But if you want to follow us,
You could just save a mouthful by saying you can follow us on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @SCNSlive.
I do have
Ooh,
lower
good
thirds
tip.
for all of that, don't I?
You do. They were acting weird, so I didn't put them in today.
Oh, okay. I made them.
But also, you could just like say it in a less
Follow us
weird
at
way.
SCNS Live. You can pretty much find us anywhere. Put in Google SCNS Live. But if you want to follow us personally, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JasonTheX. Cat?
You can find me on, usually only on Instagram, at BetterCat.
And your micro photography.
Yeah, I'm posting a picture on SCNS Live's Instagram of my macro shots of the figures.
I'm kind of angry that the Wonder Woman thing got like so many views, and it's like, but we do this thing. But everybody liked it.
I'm good.
You are.
What can I say?
I can't argue with that.
Can I go now?
No. Where can they
Cora,
find you,
where can they
Cass?
find you?
No, where can they find you, Cass?
Okay, you can find me on Twitter at Cass_Bradley. That's KAS_Bradley with a Y. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram under that, although Instagram don't post as much. You can also find both Kat and I, when we actually decide to do it, at Super Quick Movie for Super Quick Movie reviews.
On Twitter.
If y'all need movies
on
to review,
Twitter.
I got a couple
We
to
have
recommend.
movies
We
to
have-
review. We need reminders to
We need-
review them.
yeah.
I have
I
one I
keep
want to
forgetting.
subject you to.
What is it?
What?
Common hentai.
Nope,
Oh.
not happening.
Or hentai common. Oh, no.
Oh, him!
Yeah.
No, it's funny.
It's, oh, God. I'll show you the trailer afterwards.
Okay.
It's not what you think it is.
Okay.
But anyway, it's so tongue-in-cheek. Anyway,
Cora.
Cora.
All right. You can find me on Instagram at Corodono, KORODONO, where I've just been kind of posting doodles as I have time to. I had planned on doing a whole thing of different Suikoden art. That didn't happen, obviously. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Hawks Perch, where I continuously retweet and scream into the void about Suikoden. Sometimes it screams back, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, it's not the void this week.
It's not the void this week, and it's been great. But I also have been posting some information about our D&D game that we're going to be starting up sometime either
excited.
at the end of next month or beginning of November. So if you want to know
Round
more
table of
information,
gameness.
if you want to know more about that, follow me on Twitter.
So anyway, guys, that is...
Oh, by the way, you might have some of the void screaming back now that we know we can get the game.
I'm so sorry. I thought I
Sorry,
mentioned that
Chris.
before.
Sorry, Chris.
Oh. That's...
Straight into his ears.
So anyway, guys, that's it for tonight. We'll see you guys next week for more of the show that we do. But as we always say, keep on nerding.
Our dad is
Our dad is watching.
Our dad is watching.